Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another Sunday Night Rag Chew. Thanks for joining me. Tonight's live stream is not a live stream, it's a live stream of a pre recorded video. Earlier today, I met with Scott Boutwell and Kelly Roark discussing the upcoming 2024 Gokit Challenge in Flower Mound, Texas at gokitchallenge.org. Check it out. Hope you like the video, and we hope to see you with or without your radio at the Gokit Challenge. So we'd like to welcome Kelly Roark and Scott Boutwell to our Gokit Challenge Coordinators interview. Guys, welcome. I know we know each other, but we're going to try to make it look like we're far away with a Zoom meeting.
I'm in Alaska. No, I'm kidding.
And Kelly was somewhere else earlier, but he got out of the grass. All right, guys. So I'd like to start off because you never know who's watching. Let's start off with a fresh introduction with each of you. Just introduce yourselves and.
You go first, Kelly. It starts with Casey.
We might have to do a
All right,
start with we'll start with Casey.
So my name is Kelly. Call sign is KC5AMT, and I've been playing ham radio since the early 1990s. Been involved in Aries club leadership in different places and that kind of stuff. Then decided it was time to not be as involved in the clubs and just do some fun ham radio stuff on the side.
Awesome. How about you, Scott?
I'm KG5RGR. Let's see, ham radio about 6 years ago. Yeah, that'd be about right. 6 years ago. It was in tech in general, in extra. Active in multiple clubs during that time. Kind of fell in with you guys somewhere along the line, and yeah, we've been playing radio ever since.
Very cool, very cool. Yep, known them for at least 10 years or so, I guess, maybe 10 since I just renewed. Okay, so let's continue. Thanks for your introductions. We're going to continue with, and I don't know how you guys want to separate this. What is the Gokit Challenge?
Oh,
He's pointing to you, Kelly.
So, kind of the history of the Gokit Challenge. It was about 6 years ago. Scott and I were sitting at a Whataburger. We were having some Dr. Peppers, and it was just way too late at night. And the thought came to me that, man, I sure wish there was a way that we could see other people's Gokits. What is it that they're building? Why do they do it the way they do it? And from that conversation, Scott and I kind of gave birth to this Gokit Challenge. So that first year we had gone to Dakara, and we asked them for a little seed money to get the program started, and they put up some money. We went out to South Lakes Park in Denton, had about eight or 10 people that actually participated and set up. I know you had a program set up out there, had your stuff to show off. That year, Laird Lind, KC5LL, he took home the trophy, and he won the contest. And then the following year, we had COVID. And so Laird decided on his own that he was the de facto winner because the president canceled our event.
Convenient.
So Laird created what we call the Hamburg Cup, and it's basically a big stein, and from with the Hamburg, Germany, and that kind of stuff on it. And that has been the trophy. And on that trophy, we attach some dog tags with the name and the call sign and the year the person won. And that goes from person to person as the event carries on. So the following year after COVID, the Lake Area Amateur, the year after COVID, so that would have been 2021, the Louisville Amateur Radio Association hosted the event. It was at the LL Woods Park. And the winner there was, hold on, let me get my notes, Scott Croft, N5FU. Scott Croft won that year. And something interesting happened that year. We had a guy show up with an incredible mobile setup. Now,
I hear it was amazing.
Yes. We had decided early on we weren't going to do a mobile category, that a Gokit was something you could physically pick up and carry into someplace. If you were going to be working at a shelter, if you were going to be doing a temporary setup at, say, a fire station or a command post of some sort, it had to be something that you could carry to the facility and then, run an antenna outside or whatever. But when this guy showed up with this car, we were like, we really need to think about doing a mobile category. So the following year, Scott and I put together the next Gokit challenge. We did it at Railroad Park in Louisville. Cool location. I think the only downside to that location was there weren't any trees, and there were some transmission power lines that ran through the park not far from where we were set up. Still had a really successful event, and at that event, Scott Croft took home the trophy again. And let's see, did
Paul took the mobile that year.
And Paul took home mobile that year. Yes.
Did I?
So Paul has a Jeep called Boba, and Boba has a very, very extensive setup in the back of the Jeep and in the passenger compartment, to where it could be operated as a command post or running driving mobile. So Paul won that. We had another guy show up. He wasn't even a ham radio operator, but he showed up with his pickup truck, and he had a trailer attached to it that was, I guess you would call it one of the overland type trailers, had a tent attached to it. And he set the whole thing up for us and showed us how it would work, how it would power all of its capabilities. And it was like, man, the only thing this thing needs now is a radio. So anyway, so that was really cool that we had, at that point, we had gotten out to where it was a non-ham radio operator that was just interested in preparedness. So that was a really cool event. We had probably gotten up to maybe 15 competitors for that year.
Yeah.
It was a really nice setup. We had, guys that basically just set up a tent, a stool, and a small table and operated from that. And we had other guys that had more elaborate setups. It was a wide mix, and it was great to be able to look at how these guys set up their different kits.
It was cold.
The following year,
it was cold.
It was no, that year wasn't so bad. It was nice and sunny that year. It was windy and it was chilly, but the sun was at least shining. Now, last year, on the other hand, last year was cold. And we did that at Doubletree Ranch Park in Highland Village, Texas. And really, really awesome event. We were blessed to get some publicity up front, and it really went very, very well. We had 30 competitors in that event.
Wow, that's a lot.
We had an official mobile category, and we had some parking spaces blocked off where those that had mobile entries could park their vehicles up close to the event so that people could vote on those. And it was just a really successful event. So all in all, that's kind of the history of it. But what is
the guy with the tent trailer showed up this time with a ham radio license.
Yep.
Yes, he did. And he had a small radio in that trailer. I really hope he comes back this year and we see some really neat setups coming out of that trailer, because I see a lot of good potential for that. So the real focus is portable kits. A kit that you can pick up, take, carry into a facility, set it up, and be able to get on the air. There's nothing in our, so that's the original thing. We also have the mobile category, and that's going to take place. And then we've introduced a new category this year. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. Well, that's a good rundown. I can't recall. I know last year I won one, right? I think it was the 2 years prior. I don't know if I won at the Railroad Park. Can't remember.
Yeah, you took the first year at Railroad Park, and then you took the second year last year.
Oh, that's right, because COVID was the middle year there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm losing track.
Yeah.
All right.
So, we did too, because we kept calling it the 5th annual this year.
Oh, yeah.
And then we started counting and going, wait a minute, this kind of sort of is the 6th year. It's the 5th actual event that we've been able to produce. But it is the 6th year that we've been doing it. It's just COVID. We didn't really do much.
The only reason I can keep track of what year we did this, it was in my first year. It was in my first year when I was involved, and Kelly and I were hanging around together. And yeah, we were doing Whataburger that was my first year doing this. And yeah, so we've been doing this now for 6 years.
So for those outside of Texas, they may not know that a lot of things get done at Whataburgers, I think. For those outside of Texas. Okay, so how does someone get into it? How does someone join? What do they need? How do they get there? How do they get in there, and do they need to register? Anything they need to do?
No, just show up. Show up the day of at the park at the address, and that's on
Okay.
the gokitchallenge.org website. Yes, we have a website this year.
Yep.
Show up at the address, bring your Go Kit with you, show up at the table. They'll be given a cup, and with that cup, people then when they come in will be given tickets, and they will come around. They'll vote, and we're going to do the voting between 8 o'clock in the morning and about 11, because we've got to be out of there by 12 this year. So it'll be between 8 and 11. Yeah, I know some folks that's way early, but hey, got to do what you got to do. And they'll come around, they'll do votes. We'll collect all that at some point. The only real rule that we have for all categories have to make 2 contacts with a judge present, which I think I had
Yep.
made you make more contacts again when I got to yours last year in mobile and you were doing
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's really our only rule that we've got.
Okay.
Is you've got to be able to show that your rig works.
That makes
not
sense.
just power zone.
Okay, so the website is gokitchallenge.org. I've got it pulled up here. I don't think can you guys see that okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
So this was Jim Lavin, I think, correct, right? Put this together for us.
Yes, he did.
Thank you, Jim. This is very nice. So gokitchallenge.org. You scroll down here. It gives you here's the address, tells you time and address and everything here. And then here's the categories. And Kelly, you told us about 2 categories. So why don't you go ahead, or Scott, introduce the new category?
Kelly can introduce the new category, but I'll just basically run down the first 2. First one's People's Choice. That's the big one. That's the Hamburg Cup. Second one is the mobile category, which we do have an award for the mobile folks this year. Yeah, come out, see it. Paul's already seen it.
Do we want to see it, or do you want me to keep it secret?
I don't know. That's up to you guys.
I've got it here
Oh,
if you
let's
want me to
show
show it.
Yeah, go ahead and show it.
Let's
All
show
right.
it.
Let me bring this
Let them know
down.
what they're fighting for.
This is the can you see that? Oh, you guys probably can't see that.
Can
Yep,
see it.
I can see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then they're laser engraving, right? Is what he did here.
Yes.
The
Yes.
call sign and the year you won. So, and then that'll be attached with, I think you told me, what was it? A chain.
A chain.
Okay. So there's your trophy for the mobile version of the Go Kit Challenge. And then he mentioned the Hamburg Cup. I know there's a photo here. Let's go. Let me show. I couldn't find an individual photo of that, but I know it's on here around a certain someone's neck.
Say there should be a picture of it around the great Scott Croft's neck.
Yeah. We'll come back to that. There we go.
There he is.
All right. So there's Scott Croft in K5
N5.
N5 FKU. My mind wants to say other things with that call sign. I think that's why he did it. And that's the Hamburg Cup. He's proudly displaying with his bling bling chain there going on. So that's for the overall or the
One thing I want to bring up too about people and entering Go Kits. Just because it's your 50th year or your 15th year, don't expect somebody couldn't come out and win this just their first year out. Scott's very first year as a ham radio operator, he won the Go Kit Challenge with his kit that he brought out. He's proudly displaying that cup there on his second time that he won it. But his very first trip out to LL Woods, yeah, he walked away with the cup. And is it because he had more friends show up and throw tickets? No. He had a really tricked out kit, and it really looked nice.
Yeah, so since you have to make 2 contacts, what I was thinking, yes, if you want to enter and make the 2 contacts and try to win something, certainly your radio needs to be working and operational, but would it be okay if someone say they didn't have it completely set up, but they just wanted to show it off, could show up and just show that off?
Sure.
Yeah. So just bring your
Yeah.
radio out,
Absolutely.
complete it or not.
So one of the ideas behind it is not just to show off and win a contest, but really the goal is for people to get ideas and learn from one another. And so if you have a partially put together Go kit, or you just want to know, hey, I need some ideas for a Go kit that I want to build, this is a great opportunity to do that. And, steal those ideas from somebody else. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. There's a million different ways you can configure a Go kit. So getting the ideas from others who have already built one is a really great way to do that.
Well,
So, and that was really what Scott and I had pictured in
yeah.
the beginning was the contest is just to convince people to come out and do something. But the real idea behind it is we want people to learn from one another and build the ham radio community.
Well, and if you scroll up, Paul, on your website there
Mm-hmm.
to the very, very first picture.
Up
Okay.
here or
No.
top here.
Yep, right there. That's what GoKit did to me. That is my kit. I don't enter it because, yeah, it wouldn't be fair for one of the judges to be entering, as well as that's my own learning from everybody else. I had multiple radios, multiple rigs and stuff that I can put in there. And I went and bought a box and built my own kit. And that was really kind of my big push for wanting to do this was I needed to build a kit. I wanted to build a kit. I knew I wanted to. It's just I had no clue of what even one looked like.
Yeah.
And Kelly and I were kicking that back around, and Kelly, Lee had told us about mobile rigs that had their installations and stuff. And we had been hearing about that a lot on Digitally Speaking. That's a net that we were all involved in. But for a new guy coming in, I had never seen any of this. Gerald showed me some of the stuff that Denton County had, but we wanted to go a little further and kind of like, I wanted to peek behind the Wizard of Oz's curtains and see what was there and how people put stuff together. And so did Kelly. So really, that was my interpretation that you've got there and on the website of what GoKit did for me. I was able to build something. Now, am I planning more for myself later? Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a real clean kit. And what's cool, like you're saying, is you can see all these different options. There's so many. My mindset when I first looked into Go kits was just the Pelican box. I actually have one. I've got stuff in there to make it. Never made it. It's in the attic or somewhere. I never put it all together. And then I think shortly after, a year or so after I got that and didn't use it, I was looking at the Go Kit challenge and all these other options, and I kind of gave up. I felt a little overwhelmed, but you will get some great ideas at the Go Kit challenge.
Scott sent me one this last week of a Pelican kit that a guy built, a very thin and very narrow radio, dropped it straight in, 3D printed the base inside a Pelican kit. And I mean, this thing is very clean and nice. It was on one of the prepper pages in Facebook and looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this is you've got so many different interpretations of what a kit can be, and really it's built around what your needs are, not mine, but yours, how you're going to use it the most. And yeah, mine was built for the back of my truck.
Yeah, last year you had Tank Radio Frank show up and Cade MRD or Ham Radio Tube Mike show up. I think were they the only? No, there was someone else. He was new to me. I didn't know him, but there was another guy, and I can't think who it was. And I think Mike and Frank actually had radios as well. And I was really impressed by Frank's that little plexiglass see-through power box. I can't remember who he said made them. But that, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of cool stuff. So there's Roger on the left, and he's created a really, I think he's done most of the work correct on the logo.
Yes.
And he's done an amazing job on a logo, new logo coming out. And that's his Go Kit in an election box booth thing, little portable box. And then that's my boba on the right. I won't have it there this year. Boba's down with bad transmission, but mine was a mess, but it's just fun to do. There's so many more things I want to do to it and improve it. So hopefully people come out and check it out. It was really fun. There's Frank's kit right there. There's that glass or see-through power bank.
One of the things I want to bring up, Paul, about a lot of this too is you guys get to see just Kelly and I for Gokit on these YouTubes. No, that is not really what Gokit is. Gokit is a collection of the guys that won, a collection of people that are interested, and people that have assisted with this over the past 5 or 6 years that they get together and they're the ones that are donating prizes. They're creating trophies. They're helping judge this. They're helping create it and create the website for it. So yeah, what was just a conversation between a couple of friends at Whataburger has turned into a much larger group that's playing once a year like this. And I will say we've gotten emails outside of this area throughout the United States that have asked, how did you do this? How can we play and what can we do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where some of this, some of this goes.
Yeah, it's probably my overall event wise, it's probably my favorite event because it's just fun. There's no stress of contacting, getting on some leaderboard and this and that, and it's not just sitting down playing with radios. You're looking at the inventiveness and creativity of other ham radio operators. I just think it's amazing. So I'm really glad you guys have put this together and it's come as far as it has, and I'm assuming it's going to get even bigger. I really do. I think this is one of those things it's just going to get bigger and bigger every year. All right, do you guys have anything else you want to share? I think we've given them the information. Again, it's gokitchallenge.org. Anything else that we've missed, I haven't asked, or we needed to go over?
Let's do two things real quick. Let's talk about, there was something that Scott left out, and that is the prizes. We do give
Oh,
away
yes,
prizes
I
for
was going to ask you that.
categories. We do door prizes. The first year we did it, I purchased a couple of prizes, and that was great. Ever since then, almost all of the prizes have been donated by other hams. Somebody had an extra handheld laying around that they were like, "Oh yeah, here, throw this in there. Hey, here's a mobile rig that I don't need it anymore. Make it one of your prizes." So we've gotten a lot of cool things that way. And this year we've got some cool prizes that have been donated. Um, and we really appreciate all of that. Anyway, the other thing is we talked about that new category, the 50 and over category. And, and it's kind of a play on words. 50 and over category, you start thinking 50 years old and older, so it's only the old guys. But no, that is not what it was intended to be. 50 and over, 50 megahertz and up. Everything in the kit has to be able to be operated by a technician class licensee. Doesn't mean you have to be a technician class to submit, but everything in that kit has to be technician level communications gear. So that's what we want to do. And the idea behind this is we've got younger hams that maybe they just have a technician license. Or I say younger, it might just be newer hams. They have a technician license, so they don't have an HF rig that they can put into a Go kit. And that's cool. VHF and UHF are still very much needed when we do emergency communications. So, having that local capability. The other thing is, I lost my train of thought. So the other thing is, we wanted people to be able to, say it's someone they just don't own HF gear, then we want them to be able to participate at whatever level they are. And we didn't want them to feel like, oh, I can't compete with the big guys with the HF rigs and the big kits and everything else. But, I've got an ammo box, a radio, and a power supply. I can still create a Go kit out of that. And so we wanted to make sure there was a way for those ham operators to be able to participate as well.
I think it's a great idea. Thanks for I almost slipped my mind to not go back to that. Thanks for bringing that up. So hopefully we'll get some. You still got what do they got? They still got over a month.
Yep.
Put together a kit and come out, or if you don't have a kit, just come out, have some fun.
March 16th.
March 16th.
Yep.
March
8 a.m.
Doubletree Ranch Park, Highland
there.
Village, Texas. We're gonna start setting up around 7:30 or so, and we got to be out of the park by about noon. So there's another reservation in the pavilion after we leave. So we got to make sure we're cleaned up and out.
All right.
And if you do bring an HT in a cardboard box, we are going to laugh at you.
But why not? That
Yeah.
would be fun. Mine this year, since I can't do mobile, it's coming in a bag. It's going to be in a bag. I don't win
Nothing wrong with
anything.
that.
I don't care. We're going to have fun with it.
One of the things that POTA has done, POTA has been a huge benefit to the Gokit Challenge and to Gokits in general, because a lot of these guys, everything they need is in a small backpack, and then they have an antenna.
Yep.
Or a lot of times the antenna is rolled up and inside the bag also, maybe a end-fed half wave or something like that. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of folks show up, and a lot of the POTA guys have expressed an interest in being able to come out and participate and show off what they're using for POTA and soda and whatever and other activities like that.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for taking the time. Anything else, last minute items that we need to let people know?
Come out.
We're good to go?
Have some fun. We're good to go.
That sounds good to me. All right, guys, thanks. Appreciate both of them coming on, taking the time, and letting us know about this awesome Gokit challenge. Don't miss it. And 73 from K5VOP and
KG5RGF.
KC5.
All right, guys.
KC5AMT.
Thanks. Take care, guys.